New updates here with secret free event packs, returning awesome weapons, and also new secret animations, along with loads more stuff. So let's go into it right now and go over so much. Although when I loaded up the game, I was greeted with 4 news tabs. 3 of them were telling me to buy skins, and the final one was telling me to read the patch notes. So this update honestly looks a bit weird from the get-go. When you go into the store, Respawn have reintroduced being able to buy heirlooms in the store tab if you buy out a mini collection event in the store tab. This applies with the Dress to Kill event. You can now get the Horizon heirloom if you buy all of the skins for it, and as someone who bought this event out when it came out a few years ago, this is what my view of it looks like. How weird. Also, for some reason, Respawn have invented a new type of pack where they just combine 2 legend skins, put them into a pack, and call it a day. This is happening with the Eternal Life pack, and the game now has Battle Pass packs present up to Season 19, which is insane. And finishing off the store tab, because I literally don't want to talk about it any longer, you can now buy the Karambit with heirloom shards, finally. We also have a bit of disappointing news to talk about regarding the event skins, but before that, let's go on to actual content, starting in the firing range, where we can find out the EPG is no longer in the firing range. I guess if you want to use it, you have to find it in a Rift Relic now and can't play around in the firing range. This also means the new knife that Respawn are introducing for the Rift Relics isn't in the firing range either. Although when I first entered there was something I was dead set on trying, the new Mirage changes. And I'll tell you what, these are brilliant and are probably going to get a bit annoying. Basically, his first 2 blue perks have been completely replaced with new ones, so he can no longer have a really quickly regenerating ult, but there is now a scan perk, which is probably going to be pretty useful. The most important thing that was newly added to him though, is that whenever he heals, he will now go invisible, and this is insane with the Phoenix kit. This is what this new passive looks like in first person when you're healing. You can quite clearly see that you go invisible, although you can still see your stickers on your battery, which is pretty dumb honestly and takes me out of it a bit, and this is what it looks like in third person. I can see there are a few visual bugs where the effects are visible even though Mirage is invisible. I really hope that this is a glitch that the Mirage player sees rather than enemies, because if enemies can see this, Apex should be embarrassed, because that is a giant oversight. Like, did you even playtest this ability? This ability is not unlimited though. Between every single cloak there's a 5-second cooldown where you won't turn invisible when healing, so back-to-back healing won't let you be permanently invisible. You have to wait 5 seconds between each cloak. You can actually get a countdown for the cloak in the bottom left. This is what it looks like, and it's a pretty solid ability. If it's used right, you're going to be good. Moving quickly onto Loba though. Her new buff gave her 2 bracelets, so now she can throw 2 bracelets in a row, which is insane, and combined with some of her new perks, it gets even more insane, because first of all, she got a perk that speeds up all of the bracelet animations. You can definitely feel this when you use the bracelet. This is a must pick, and the second must pick I say is in purple, with the upgrade that allows you to gain shield whenever you come out of a bracelet teleport. This perk is insane. It's just free heals. I know the other purple upgrade option for Loba is gold backpacks for all the team, but I honestly think coming out of a teleport and instantly healing is insane, and you must pick this, although we'll have to see how the meta adapts. Also, her ultimate has been improved. Look how quick this thing goes up. This is great. You can also pull as many small heals as you want through this ultimate, which is also very great. With this update, Loba's ult also has griefing protection, which I think stops friendlies from breaking your ultimate, and you can now also collapse your ultimate through walls. This is very powerful. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, because within this update, Respawn also added back the Select Fire Receiver, which is so fun to put on the Prowler because it turns the Prowler into a very powerful auto SMG. Respawn also added another weapon the Select Fire Receiver can go on, and it's the weapon you probably least expect. It was the charge rifle. Yes, you can now put the Select Fire on the charge rifle and it makes it an automatic weapon. This is insane. When you put the Select Fire on and select auto on the charge rifle, it does reduce the damage a bit, but at the cost of this: a hugely fast firing rate, very overpowering and probably scary to anybody being shot by it, along with fairly good DPS if you have a big mag. Combined with the other charge rifle buffs where the projectiles are less affected by gravity and also just feel better overall, this is an insane buff. If you don't use the charge rifle with this update, you're missing out. Even just try it for a few seconds. Moving on, we also got an addition to the G7, the Car SMG, and also the Nemesis. this called the Accelerator, and honestly this is a game changer for solo players, as the Accelerator is a pre-installed hop-up to all of these weapons, and basically the Accelerator converts damage you get into Evo points and also ultimate charge. So whenever you damage an enemy using a Grrt SMG G7 or Nemesis, you will now gain shield Evo. This is great, this is amazing, and it also brings these guns which weren't used too much to the front of the game. If you do find yourself not evoing your shields as quick as you want to, I would try this out, especially if you can stand your own in a gunfight. Although this update has come with controversy, very bad controversy. You may have noticed in the patch notes for this update, there was a line about tap strafing, and it was very vague. Nobody really understood what the change really entailed for tap strafing, but now we can test it in game, we can find out. Essentially, tap strafe has been nerfed to recognize less strafe inputs, essentially making tap strafing a bit less effective and responsive than it was before. Respawn did try to nerf tap strafing in the past, but fan backlash was so bad they reversed this decision, but it seems they have taken a step to kind of partially nerf it. I guess because these days, backlash doesn't matter. This is me trying the tap strafe nerf. You can still tap strafe, but it feels off. It feels like you're tap strafing through honey, and you can also tap strafe for a much shorter time. It's hard to explain, but you can feel it. Now, with this change, we have seen people getting very mad, and also a very big movement YouTuber essentially quit Apex, who is Saw Lemonhead. I'm not sure if this is directly to do with the tap strafe nerf, but I really wouldn't be surprised. Essentially, tap strafe isn't removed, but it just doesn't feel as good, and it's a bit less predictable than it used to be. You'll probably see people messing up their tap strafes until they either figure this out, or just kind of give up maybe. This is disappointing because in my opinion, the patch notes for this event were so good, and then there's just this little thing that didn't really need to happen, but it ruined a lot of people's opinions. Hopefully there is a bigger plan to this. Somebody in my replies said they nerfed this to make Titanfall movement better when they add it. Not sure how true that one is, but I guess keep believing it. I certainly hope it's true, but let's go on to something positive, as I noticed a really popular weapon will be returning when I was scrolling through the menus. When I was looking through the challenge menus, I noticed on the Rift Relic challenge menu, there was a Buster Sword present, and this is the weapon Buster Sword, which was added back last January for the Final Fantasy event. So it does seem when this event comes out, we're going to be getting the Buster Sword coming back. It doesn't seem like this sword is going to be coming back in the way that it used to, where it just spawned on the map, but it will be in Rift Relics. Not particularly sure if I'm happy with that decision, but we'll have to see how it goes, because I think there's a lot of items in the Rift Relics, and if you add one more red one, it's going to be super rare, and if it's the main gimmick for an update, people aren't really going to be able to use it. Although when I actually clicked on the Rift Relic challenges, I did notice that if you open 25 Rift Relics this week, you will get a free event pack, which is pretty solid. This makes 2 event packs available during this event. You can get one from the reward store and one from this challenge. Speaking of the event though, it's not exactly what we expected, as a lot of people were pretty excited for this Alter skin and this Horizon skin, because they both have unique select animations, and most people assumed they would be fairly cheap to get because they're normal legendaries. But when we go into the event store, we can see the 2 rarest items in these event packs at a 3% drop rate are the Alter skin and also the Horizon skin. There are no universal heirlooms, heirloom recolors, or prestige skins in this event, so you're basically gambling for these 2 skins. This sucks, and I noticed something even weirder. When we look at this event, for some reason, most of the skins that weren't in the trailer aren't even in it. You actually have to go to the store tab to directly purchase them. I'm not complaining because I'd rather directly purchase a skin rather than gamble for it, but I thought this was a bit weird. The thing that hurts me the most though is that the best wingman skin ever invented is a random drop in this event, so you have to gamble for it. Cosmetic wise, overall, this event is slightly disappointing, and I hope Respawn don't start locking skins with rare select animations behind a gambling wall. They did it with this caustic skin back in season 21, and now these 2 skins. I really hope this doesn't become a constant thing, because it sucks honestly. Let's cleanse our palettes with a bit of actual content though, because Vantage actually got a new animation. This was in the patch notes, and Respawn said you'll now be able to ultimate excel Vantage's ultimate without putting it away, because if you're not aware, the only way to reload Vantage's ultimate is wait or ultimate excel it, and this is the new animation that plays in game. You can press B and she will plug the ultimate accelerant into the bottom of her gun, it will charge it up, and then she can use her gun. This is pretty cool. Respawn honestly didn't have to add a new animation for this, so the fact that they did it does make me quite happy and shows they still like this little attention to detail thing. On top of this, we also got a new Kraber inspect animation, and when you pick up the Kraber, you won't actually see it. You'll inspect, but it will just be the old one. But this inspect animation, you have to do something special, and it was specially made for Trickshot. shots, as this animation can only be activated when you're in the air. So if you jump off a jump pad and you do this inspect, it will activate, or if you're just falling off a cliff, it will activate. This is cool. I didn't know Respawn could do this, and this animation does look really good if you shoot instantly after. It's great for trick shots, and it's kind of cool that Respawn are leaning into trick shot clips. Like, I genuinely can't think of a game that's actually leaned into that with animations. Absolutely fantastic stuff on that end. The actual main content in this update was the return of Launch Royale, which is slightly saddening because Launch Royale was fun. It wasn't around for enough time, but I wish we got new content for this season. Although Launch Royale has seen some changes, now it doesn't just take place on Kings Canyon, but it takes place on every single map, and essentially you're going to be able to play with the OG legends with OG balancing and OG weapons on new maps. Cool concept, but it's quite disappointing to have a reused LTM. In my opinion, if this mid-season update actually had a new LTM, it might have been one of the best event updates Apex ever got. Honestly, they just need to get rid of milestone events. I think people are scared of them. Try out a few more collection events, or maybe collection events with some changes, and do LTMs. That would definitely bring people back. But still, honestly, I think this update was good and a step in the right direction. I like it when Respawn changed a lot with balancing, although the Tap Strafe nerf was slightly unneeded.